Welcome to Shop Talk. My name's Pam Ikegami. I'm with the Ink Kitchen, and I'm talking today with Rick Roth, also of Ink Kitchen and Mirror Image, about doing good with screen printing, working with kids, and community. So, what do you got to say?
All right. So, first off, I'll say we had hoped to have Andy McDougall here. He's one of the better flat stock printers and one of the better guys and one of the most amusing guys, but he wasn't able to come, so he got me. But I'm going to relate some of his experiences and mine and talk about some good you can do with your business besides, some good you can do with your business. So I'll talk about Andy first, actually. So Andy has worked now in like semi-retirement with First Nation folks in British Columbia. So this has been a great experience to engage some of the younger members of the tribe in something that they really have enjoyed, that's art that has, in a lot of ways, been about their culture, because a lot of things they print are related to the tribal art that they have, and it's also been able to generate some income for that nation there as well. So it's got a lot of aspects to it. You can get deeply into screen printing, and it's a very difficult process, but on the other hand, with very simple things, you can get pretty magical results. So, I still get a thrill when you see like a kid for the first time, pull a squeegee across a screen and lift it up, and they see the image, and it's a pretty magical process. I'm not sick of it myself, actually, and it's a great thing to do with kids, I think, that in particular. It's hands-on and gets you some immediate results, and they can make stuff that they like.
And how do you get to that point? You can't just put a sign outside your shop and say, "Hey kids, come on in."
No, I don't do that with my shop in particular. I actually have people call that want to make tours, and we'll do that. And on occasion, we've set something up so they can print their own shirt. We've a long time ago, it was a youth agency, and they set up different businesses, and then there were kids referred to them because they were, I don't know, at the time, whatever the bad term of the time was, juvenile delinquents or something, and nobody
at-risk youth.
Yeah, at-risk youth they're called now, I guess. I don't know. So in a pretty short time, you can teach people to at least get results. And like I said, I think art excites all people, but certainly excites young people. Results does. Making stuff that you want. Everyone wears shirts. So, one thing that attracted me to screen printing is that, a t-shirt is art that's affordable. Anybody can have a shirt. Suddenly, if you make cool shirts, the world is your gallery that you send it out. You don't have to be in this hoity-toity world. And it's kind of a great thing in that way. And there's pretty low barriers to entry. So with very little money, you can have a simple press. There's ways to shoot screens that don't cost a lot of money, and you can get some results. Yeah, you're not going to print the Mona Lisa, or you're not going to print some, crazy Rockaware shirt, but you can print a shirt with a clever saying or a drawing that you did, and it's, I think, a magical process for kids in that way.
So do you work with schools? Do you work with the high schools, tech schools? Is it more of an art-based creative project, or is it more of a technical training approach?
I think we've done both, worked with art classes, but also for a while we had informal partnership. The high school near us would send kids over that needed to do some work as part of some program they were in. And it really can be transformational. We had someone come from the high school, and the next year they won the Most Improved Student Award, and she has gone on to, work in the industry and make a very good living, and she was kind of going down the wrong way before she started working with us. You know, a lot of people just need a little help, a little encouragement, a little kick in the butt, you know, and a little attention paid to them, and that's pretty easy to do in your business. The other thing I want to talk about doing good with your business is what you can do in the community.
I was just going to ask you that. What are the ways you work with community using the tools you have?
Yeah, so it's funny. You have a lot of resources as a business, and it's funny. People generally think only of like donating money, discounts on shirts, and that you're going to get a tax break. You know, I don't know. I don't really. It seems like sometimes without a lot of money you can do a lot of good, and sometimes it has really benefits that come back to you pretty quick, I would say. You know, we used to do a lot of stuff for nonprofits. We would give them a break, or, you know, find ways to save them money so that they could make money. And, you know, I had like a really good manager at probably a salary that was much less than she could have gotten in other industries, and she flat out said, I would not have done this for the last 5 years if not for the stuff that was besides the money that the company does. So it was a source of pride in the company. I think another thing is it can be a way to improve the talents of your staff. You know, a lot of times we'll donate art. Maybe I'll have a junior member set the job up and print it. So yeah, you're giving away some shirts, but it's a training exercise at the same time.
Well, what about, I was wondering more about, you know, the event, your film festival, essentially. When you had to move your shop, you were priced out of your previous location, you had to move to a new state, a new town, and you wanted to get to know the lay of the land.
Yeah, I mean, there's more to life than money, so I like film. They had a space they weren't using. I'm a person that sees resources and tries to do something out of it. So, you know, I had a tour of a building where the economic development office was, and I'm like, what are you doing here in this beautiful theater? And it's like, I don't know. They had an answer, but I interpreted the answer to be nothing. And like, I have an idea, and then I sold them on it, and we've had a film festival for 21 years.
You want to explain about your film festival and how it ties in with screen printing?
Well, everybody that goes gets a free T-shirt. I think that's the main tie-in.
It's the main tie-in. It's more than just that, the T-shirt, though. I mean, it's a 3-day event. You show films by some sort of famous people and then undiscovered people, and it's also a $10 admission with free food, free soup, bread, a T-shirt, live music, beer.
Actually, you know, I guess that part is related to the industry in which that, like, I have customers that will do that. So I print for Sam Adams Beer. They've been a sponsor the whole time, and they give us free beer. I print for Hanes, and they've been super generous and donate the shirts. I had bands play, and then I give them a deal on their shirts. So, like, you know, resources that I have and connections I have to make something happen rather than having to generate a lot of cash to pull it off. So yeah, I guess that's the thing. When I was, especially where my first shop was, you know, you have a space that's not perfectly clean. So, you know, people were doing rallies, activism, stuff. I would let them come there and make the signs and everything. You know, no trouble to me, you know. And if they got a little paint on the floor, we already had a little paint on the floor. And so that was an easy way to help. It took it farther, you know, early days of computer. We had computers, so we would make the flyers on the computer on Saturday and Sunday. And, you know, really no cost to me. You know, I'm a member of Amnesty International. We would keep the shirts, and we would sell shirts and make money, like a lot of money. We'd use my van from the company to move people and make money. There's a lot of different things you can do, resources you have with your business. You don't necessarily have to give a deal to anybody. You just take the resources that you have that other people need. And it requires opening your eyes and being a little bit creative.
right? You don't need to stand up with a giant check. Although you've done that as well. I mean, to talk about how the sort of the events you've arranged at these shows.
Actually, yeah. So that has actually been an easy thing and pretty fun. So, you know, one thing about the Ink Kitchen is we have connections with a lot of different vendors, and they don't always play nice together, but they all have to do social events. They all want to hobnob with potential clients. So they used to do fundraisers that were, I don't know, there was a charity. It was really bad. None of the Impressions people are here anymore that did it. I don't know, they supposedly bought vans for nonprofits, but if you looked into it, it was really sketchy. So, like, I'm like, if we're gonna print shirts and sell them, let's do a good thing. And then if we're gonna have an event, let's not just come into, you know, New Orleans and, you know, drink beer and leave. You know, it's like, let's do something positive for where we are, right? So, the one time we, we had arranged Irma Thomas, one of the greatest soul singers the world has ever seen, and the Hot 8 Brass Band, and we had an event, and we got all the different vendors to contribute. They always have an event anyway, so we took the money and pooled it. Instead of a lame-ass cheese plate and a, you know, Hyatt room, it was like in a really cool place. They brought all their customers. They looked really good in front of their customers, that they actually had something fun going on. Some of the people that didn't want to contribute money, they like would give me stuff that was like money to me. You know, it's a lot easier to get emulsion from a company than it is cash. But that emulsion, as long as it's one that I use, is just like cash to me. So we were able to pull off these events. Sometimes super generosity. So Haynes donated to the one show 10,000 shirts. And the printing company, MHM, wanted to show how fast the presses ran. So we cranked out the designs during the show. And then I had arranged with then Tower Records. They sold all the shirts and passed the money through to the New Orleans Musicians Clinic. So we took this printing that had to go on at the show anyway, got somebody to sell the shirts, had the art donated from some artist that knew where the money was going, and we made $50,000 that's like real money. That's not like $500 or something.
And you're happier to make that $15,000 or $50,000 for an organization than you
for
are
myself.
for yourself.
I don't know, you know, you got to be proud of what you do in your life, and, you know, I'm proud that we did that. And I like music, so I did a good thing.
Yep, you did a good
It's cool.
thing.
And it wasn't that hard. It just wasn't that hard. You know, especially when you do it while you're doing other stuff. You know, if you're reaching out to one of your customers, you know, I don't know, Nick, I don't know if you have any beer companies, you're talking to them about shirts anyway, and then you've got a fundraiser that's good for the community, and they're going to look good, and you're going to put their logo on the back. While you're talking to them, you do it. That's not an extra call. That's, you know, you may not have that customer. Maybe you have somebody else that can donate something. But, you know, you're working into what you're doing. It's not a lot of time either. And everybody's happy about it in the end. Everybody wants to do good. They want to take, I kind of have this rule, like, if it's well organized so that people aren't wasting their time, and you ask them for what they do, like, you know, if you got beer, you got emulsion, you got a certain expertise, you ask them to do that, and then it really will make some difference. If they know that in the end there's going to be a result that makes a difference, almost everybody will contribute. It's really kind of amazing.
Yeah, if you create those opportunities for
Yes.
people.
People want to do good, and they
happy to step up.
need to know how to do it.
Yep. All right, you ready to throw to questions?
Yeah. Questions?
Any questions? If not, that's...
I thought Nick was going to ask me about mistakes I made.
All right, well, Rick will be around after the talk.
Actually, you know what? It is funny, though. I have... it's related to mistakes. I started like people will call, well, actually I want to say a couple other things about donations in particular. a lot of people like, we want you to sponsor this. We'll put your name on the back of the shirt. I don't do it. I won't do it. It's like all that ever happens from that is other people that have events see your name and they call you and think you're a soft touch. I don't ever get business that way, so I don't do it. I will say tell people about it, or if you got a paid job, bring that to me, but I do not put my name on stuff.
So you'd rather just print it for a discount for free and not have it as marketing for yourself?
Yes. And then if they're crying poor, and I think it's a good cause, I have a little test, sort of. And I usually would say, well, we can use these shirts. I know you want black shirts, but we have navy shirts. And if we use those, then I can give you a deal on it. And they're like, no, I want the black shirts and I want to print it in 4 places. Well, then you can have the black shirts and I'll print it in 4 places and I'll charge you. Because if you're not that desperate, then I don't know if I really need to help you.
Oh, I did remember one more thing. Ways of innovating to do good with, for example, the color roulette shirts and doing good in a sustainable way with that.
Oh yeah, that was a recent thing that we did that worked out for everybody. So you know, I do contract printing and I'll get shirts in and they send extras and we don't use them. They don't want them back. I get samples sent to me. I get mistakes. Believe it or not, Nick, I've made mistakes. I've bought the wrong blank shirts or too many. So you have odd stuff around. And it's an event near us. And so we both had shirts at a kind of a regular price for them that we sold. And then we had a much less expensive thing. And we called it
color roulette.
Color roulette, and they weren't going to know what color they got, but it was at a substantial discount, and we still were able to donate on that to the cause, and it went over pretty well, actually.
We definitely sold more of the color roulette shirts than the Heather Gray. Not everybody is up for color roulette. Some people did not like their color roulette options. But on the whole, it was really interesting, and people understood the concept, and were into it, which was really cool because we hadn't tried it before, and it was just really fun to see people be like, "Wow, that's a great idea! You're taking things that were going to go to waste. We're raising money for this organization, and people have cool shirts to wear."
Yeah, occasionally we'll also, like if we print for a nonprofit or a good cause, some activists that I think are doing a good job, I'll take some of those things that I get for nothing and add them to their order. That also doesn't take much. You know, if you're printing 50 shirts, 500 shirts, whatever it is, you're going to print 3 more and you didn't pay for the shirt. It's a lot of goodwill. I tend to tell people about you. They can do good with it. It's like all good.
All right. So thanks so much for attending this shop talk. I want to thank Impressions for partnering with us and making this possible. We'll also be at the Atlantic City and Fort Worth shows this year and back again through that whole circuit next year. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, Haynes.
All right.